one of the beauties of breathwork, which I really enjoy about it, what I really love is the effects can be immediate.
Yeah.
So if we were talking here and if I looked at one of my stupid little gadgets on my wrist and I saw my heart rate was at, say, 80 or 90, then if we had time and we were to breathe, say, for 3 minutes, my heart rate would go down to about 45, 50. So using breathing just to shift that dial and come down to a more relaxed state. So the effects can be immediate.
Rory, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I have a trillion questions for you, but I'm going to get straight into, I want to know a little bit about you. Can you tell me a little bit about you coming all the way from Scotland to Australia? How did that happen?
Well, by plane.
Boat?
Honestly, I lived a great life in the UK. Grew up in Edinburgh for 18 years, then moved to London, lived there from university to my short sort of corporate career for 6 years in London. And then, I just thought, could life be better? And I wanted to try and challenge myself and live somewhere new and different. And, I'm looking around you now because I'm looking at the sun. I'm looking outside and I just moved here for sun and a change of pace and a different life. And Sydney really has given me all of that. This is home for now.
Oh, I love that. And how did you get into breathwork? Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, it's pretty random, isn't it?
Yeah.
Breathing.
It is.
I was struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression. I was on antidepressants back in 2017, 18. I studied sports science or strength and conditioning at university for 3 years. And, as I came from this physiological, biomechanical performance background, but never once was breathing spoken about or nervous system spoken about to improve mental health, physical health, or emotional health. Whilst I was struggling, a friend then recommended that I went to this breathwork session. I thought, breathwork sounds ridiculous. What is breathwork? I breathe every second of every day. How is that going to make me feel happier, healthier, more fulfilled? But I went along to this 1 hour session and, that 1 hour just changed the whole direction of my life. It made me feel joyful, happy, clear, calm, euphoric, strong, empowered. And then I probably have a slightly addictive personality and I was addicted to feeling good. And then I just continued to practice all over London. Came to Sydney in 2019 and just made it my purpose, passion and mission to hopefully help other people feel as good as breathing made and makes me feel.
Yeah, wow. What a story. So breath work can help with depression, anxiety, all of these things?
Yeah, well, yes, to answer the question simply, often when we are anxious, it's an upregulated nervous system. The fastest and most direct way to regulate our nervous system is by simply breathing in a specific pattern. If my heart rate was spiked, if I was nervous, if I was coming on a podcast, then you could breathe slower, you could breathe deeper. It taps into the parasympathetic state. If I was tired and lethargic on a Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, but I had a load of work to do, I could breathe faster to increase that energy, that alertness. So your breath is the fastest way to influence your nervous system. Often people tap into meditation. Meditation is amazing and great for a lot of things, for no better words: focus, concentration, attention. Breathwork is, or breathing, conscious breathing, which is what breathwork is the best tool, technique, practice for nervous system flexibility.
Okay. So if someone's listening and they want to get started into breath work, is there then you need to be doing this daily, 3 times a day, morning and night, when you wake up, before bed, or what's kind of like for a newbie, a beginner, what would you recommend?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I played around with this quite a lot at the beginning, back in 2020, 2019, maybe even to 2021. What do I feel is the most bang for your buck, essentially? You got like certain types of meditation at 20 minutes morning, 20 minutes evening. I look at breathwork as a reactive and a proactive practice tool technique session. So use specific tools reactively in moments of stress to shift that state.
Okay.
But also use specific techniques proactively. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to feel more calm, you can use a specific down-regulating technique. If you want to breathe in a proactive pattern, for example, I always recommend 5 minutes of functional breathing in the morning, 5 minutes of functional breathing in the afternoon. Functional breathing is through your nose. You close the eyes, place your hands on your belly, on your lower ribs. You breathe in through your nose, slow and deep. And a relaxed exhale through the nose.
Is that weird that when I breathe out, it kind of like I can't do it smooth like you? Is that a beginner's thing? Or
It's a sign that you probably should practice it. It's not terrible, but it's not
guys,
great.
try it at home. Am I the only one
Yeah, give it a go.
that breathes weird?
No, you don't breathe weird. You know, a lot of people will often breathe in a dysfunctional pattern, and that could be erratic, it could be short, it could be shallow, it could be through the mouth. But just learning and practicing and understanding how to breathe more optimally can be life-changing.
Because like you said, people don't usually stop and think about their breathing. Like we just breathe naturally throughout the day and the night. Even when we're sleeping, we're always breathing. So it's not something that people go, oh, let me sit and actually take note of my breathing, right?
Yeah.
So with that one that you just did, how long? 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
You were saying
5
in and
minutes.
out through the nose. Okay.
Your
so
nose
that's
is
quite
functional. Your
easy
nose
thing to
provides
start.
the body with over 30 benefits. The mouth is detrimental. If you breathe in through your mouth, it can spike your heart rate and it can increase more stress through your nervous system.
Wow.
If you use your nose to breathe, you can stay more hydrated. It slows the breath down, less breath for more oxygen. The list goes on. So nose, keep the mouth closed. That almost rhymed, didn't it?
Yeah, that's put that on a t-shirt. I really like that. Okay, that's really interesting. And I feel like that actually relates back to so I've got so many kids. It relates back to kids having sleeping problems when they sleep with their mouth wide open. Is that where that two connects?
God, we could talk about mouth breathing in kids and snoring and facial structure for hours, but look, I'm not telling you to do this, but just an idea. If your children, and this is for you and people listening, if they are mouth breathers, I would recommend a bit of mouth tape. So just taping the mouth. Obviously ensuring that their nose isn't blocked and allergies and anatomical issues, all the rest of it. But if they're breathing through the mouth whilst they're sleeping for, say, 9 hours, that can be pretty detrimental.
Wow.
Even so much so to their facial structure. So, for example, if science has shown that people who are nasal breathers will have a more defined jaw, more open airways, less crooked teeth.
Oh, what?
Essentially, just better looking.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
If you're a mouth breather, you have a less defined jaw, more crooked teeth, more crooked nose, and a narrower airway.
Wow. Okay, that is so interesting because I have seen a lot of the mouth taping everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty big on TikTok, hey?
Yeah, it's a big hype at the moment. And for me personally, with the mouth tape, I just feel like I would feel so claustrophobic, with something taping my mouth shut.
I hear you, and I completely understand. What I often recommend, if people felt a bit uncomfortable at first, pop it on during wakefulness. So, for example, if you have your dinner, you put the kids down, you do your teeth, and then if you're watching a bit of TV, for example, if you have time for that, pop it over your lips so that your body gets used to it whilst you're awake.
Yeah, I think
as
that's a great
opposed to
idea.
lying in bed, putting mouth tape on, and your body going, holy crap, what is going on? This is weird. I feel uncomfortable. I feel scared. I'm going to suffocate. Put it on, get used to it. Your nervous system feels safe and comfortable in that new environment or a strange thing being over your lip. I keep doing this, by the way, because I don't want you to put a big bit of gaffer tape or duct tape over your lips and your whole face. You're gonna look crazy. But just a wee bit here, just to seal the lips.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, before you spoke about 2 different techniques, I want to hear more about these. One to help with anxiety. I think I actually know this one. I actually think I do. I might be wrong.
Tell me.
But 4 breaths in, hold for 4 breaths out. Box breathing, is that... Right.
I like it.
Is that true? Because that's what I've been doing. So hopefully I'm doing the right thing.
I like the enthusiasm, but what do you mean 4 breaths in?
No, 4 counts. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 1, 2.
And then?
Oh, and then repeat.
And then you hold again. So it's inhale for 4,
Oh,
hold
and then,
for
yeah,
4,
and hold. Yeah.
exhale and hold.
So is
you
that
make a box.
for if you're feeling under pressure? Because I've got a lot of mamas and even corporate girlies, and they're busy. And I feel like lately everyone's feeling quite stressed and, you're running from one place to another and you can't slow down and there's so much going on, so much chaos. Is that the breath work that you recommend for that?
Can I give you a better one?
Oh,
Because I think
why not?
box breathing became popular for many reasons, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. However, there's not a huge amount of science on it.
Okay.
There's
Is
not a huge amount of
one
literature.
better?
Often, if we're feeling stressed and if life is go, 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 and we're 100 miles an hour, if you try to hold your breath on an exhale, that can create a little bit more stress. What I'd recommend, there's a huge amount of science, positive science, on physiology, our body, and psychology, our brain, with 4-6. So instead of doing 4, 4, 4, 4, I would recommend 4 seconds in through your nose with 6 seconds out. So
Ran
that
out of
long, yeah, but you've been talking though, so it's different. That long exhale, when we lengthen the exhale, that moves us more into that rest and digest state. Your inhale is sympathetic driven, higher heart rate, higher arousal, fight or flight energy. Your exhale is parasympathetic, that's low arousal, low stress, feeling more calm. So very simply, if you want to move more into the relaxed and calm state, lengthen the exhale. 4
Okay,
in,
right.
6 out. I've been, even though I'm a
Great.
breathwork coach, my mind is go, go, go.
Yeah.
I use this technique multiple times throughout the day, and always when I go to bed. Since about 2019, I've used it every night when I go to bed. I get into bed, mouth tape on, eye mask on, use my 4-6 breathing, and then just drift off to sleep. So don't ask me how long I do it for, because I don't know. I fall asleep.
Yeah, I was going to ask how long.
I just fall asleep.
You just keep going till you're like over it.
Well,
you're
I don't really get over it. I just fall asleep. It could be 2 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10. I don't think it's 10. I get to sleep pretty quick from it.
Wow. That's pretty amazing, because I've spoken to a sleep coach before, and that just goes hand in hand with like the sleeping tips to do that.
Can I give
as
you
well.
one more benefit with that technique
Yes,
as well?
I love any tips I can get.
So one benefit that I really like about that technique, or even just breathing techniques, when you bring it's an attention or even a distraction tool. So when you bring your attention to the seconds that you're breathing in, the seconds that you're breathing out, you're not thinking about the past, the things that you should have done that day or did do that day, or creating lists for the next day. You're in that current present moment. And that's calm, that's relaxing. That'll down-regulate and slow the heart rate down, quieten the brain waves, down-regulate the brain waves, and you can drift off to sleep. So using breathwork, breathing tools as a distraction mechanism can be really important as well.
Wow. So what about the other one that you brought up before, which is kind of like that you've got lots of work to do, it's afternoon, you need like that little bit of a spike. So you're not reaching for the coffee, you're reaching for something you've already got?
Like it. I love it. Yep.
Wow. Okay, what are we doing?
We'll use 30. We're not gonna do it now, and I'll probably break people's ears if you're listening to this with headphones on. But it's 30 fast breaths in and out through your mouth.
Oh, wow.
The intention here is to consciously stimulate, increasing a little bit of nervous system stress. We fear stress a lot of the time, but what do we do in the gym? We stress a muscle to promote positive adaptation. We're using respiration, your breathing system, to consciously add a bit of stress. We are in control of it. It is not in control of us. It will... Actually, I don't want to do it because I don't want to break people's ears. But it's 30 fast breaths. Like that, but I make
Through
a lot
the
of...
mouth?
Yeah, but I make a lot of noise too, but
Okay.
I'm mindful of...
Yeah.
health and safety. Yeah, through the mouth, you make it's a loud noise, force it all in, fill the
So
lungs
wait,
up
where do you
completely.
do this? Like, do you like lock yourself in a car so people
Oh,
like don't...
honestly, that's exactly where I do it. 'Cause
I can just
I'm-
imagine my household being like, what is mum doing?
but do it with the kids. I did breathwork with loads of kids.
Yeah?
I've got some sessions on Spotify that I'll send you after this as well, so the listeners should just jump into them. Rory Warnock on Spotify, and there's about 21 guided, 21 non-guided, and kids love it.
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the questions I had for you was, do you think kids could benefit from breath work also?
Hugely. I've worked with kids, and even some friends in my building in Bondi say that they do it with their kids who are autistic. It helps them kind of focus and not be so energized. Just having something to follow. It helps bring the attention back.
Yeah, okay, great. I think that's great when you can include your kids in things and educate them as well. Like, I never learnt about breath work from my parents or from anyone. Like, I'm 33 years old and only learning about it probably in the last 2 years of my life, now that wellness is becoming such a big hype in everyone's lives. So I think it's great if you can educate them from a young age. So I'll definitely have to listen in to some of those.
I'll send it to you to remind you.
Yeah.
Can I jump back to something you mentioned as well, with how we don't really give much attention to breathing, right? And we often just neglect it, and it's this thing that we do unconsciously, subconsciously, involuntary, 25,000 times a day. But we give so much attention to nutrition, food, what we put in our mouth, but less about what we put up our nose, i.e. oxygen, breath. we need to breathe, we need to eat to fuel the brain and body, but we give so much time and attention to food and nutrition. If we could give a little bit of time and attention to how we breathe, you'd have more energy, you feel well rested, you'd be able to perform better, more focused, better decision making, better athletic performance, less reactive. The list goes on.
Wow. And it's free and
And it's
on
free,
you
yeah.
wherever you are. You don't have to drive anywhere to go do
Yeah.
it and sign up to a course or pay. Wow. Okay. Well, I've done one breathing session before and pretty much all the girls left crying. Is that normal
Yeah.
in a breathwork session? They were all, I was the only one not crying. I was like, is there something wrong with me? All of the girls were crying and they were just like, that was amazing. And they just felt like this release.
That's definitely a specific type of session. Very similar to, it could be similar to Wim Hof's method. It could be similar to holotropic or rebirth or conscious connected breathing. That is a pretty popular style of breathwork. That's really where I fell in love with it. But then I started going down the rabbit holes of how it can improve, high performance athletes, high performing individuals and teams, and doing different techniques. I don't think we want to be crying every day, but there are tools that we can use every day just to, elevate life essentially.
Why does that happen though with breath?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Is that like the trauma in your body or like some emotion that just needs to be set free?
Honestly, I don't know. And I'm not going to give you some bullshit answer because I
Yeah.
just don't. I've read a lot of literature, a lot of science, a lot of papers around breathing, respiration, our brain, our body, and I've not read a paper yet that explains how it makes us feel emotional. And I feel emotional. Often when I do it, I'll cry. But the beauty and the weird thing about it is the process can often be the same, i.e. the breathing techniques that I would use or that we would use in a session could be the same, but the outcome could differ because our emotions and our where we're currently at mentally, physically, emotionally is always changing. So what happened to you last week probably isn't going to happen to you this week or probably won't happen next week. So we're always changing. So even though the process, the tools, the techniques of practice could be the same, the outcome could differ, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very amazing. You spoke earlier about your mental health and how breathwork has really helped you. Is that a long-term commitment to breath health? It's not like, you're going to do this practice for 1 week and then it's going to, click your fingers and it's going to be all gone and all better. It's a long-term journey that you've got to commit to?
Well, life's a long-term journey, right? Life is just a long-term journey that, you got to consistently show up, very similar to like a relationship. You got to consistently show up and put the work in. It's another tool in your toolbox to look after the mind and body. So for me, I like to sauna, I like to run, I like to lift weights, I like to move my body, I like to practice breath work, I enjoy socializing, I love food. These are all aspects of my well-being that I view just to help me be the best version of me. So yeah, you're not going to be cured in a week. I wish I could sell that and package it up, but it's not definitely not the case. It's a consistent practice over time. There are ways that you can improve your stress threshold to become more resilient in the future, more tolerable nervous system.
Wow.
But it's a consistent practice, like Pilates, like yoga, like weight training.
It's not a one-time thing. You've got to continue on.
I wish there's a quick fix. One of the beauties of breathwork, which I really enjoy about it, what I really love is the effects can be immediate.
Yeah.
So if we were talking here and if I looked at one of my stupid little gadgets on my wrist and I saw my heart rate was at, say, 80 or 90, then if we had time and we were to breathe, say, for 3 minutes, my heart rate would go down to about 45, 50. So using breathing just to shift that dial and come down to a more relaxed state. So the effects can be immediate.
Absolutely love that. That makes me think of my children when they're having these tantrums. You know what? They must teach them something in school because once I was having a little bit of a tantrum myself. And my
Only once?
Only one time. And my son goes, breathe in and breathe out.
He's smart.
I was like, that, and then I did it. Like I was having a bit of a cry and I just did it and I felt better straight away. And I was like, wow, like this teacher or someone taught him that. It was not me.
But awesome that he wanted to support you as well.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But I got to do, so he then had a tantrum and I said, honey, do you remember you taught me breathe in? He goes, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, that's another one trying to get the buy-in, isn't it?
Yeah. So with kids, can you give any advice to any mum who's listening if they have a little one and, they're having a tantrum, is there some kind of little game or technique that we can just, try to snap them into?
Yeah, I mean, there's a great paper titled "A Sigh of Relief" or "A Sigh to Relieve," and the authors found that deep breathing, essentially sighing, can be used as physiological and psychological resetters, essentially resetting the mind and body simply through sighing. So, if a child, an individual, is feeling reactive, if they're feeling angry and struggling to regulate their emotions, I use the reset breath. It can be 1, 2, or 3, but it's very simple. It is this: a full breath in from the bottom of the belly into the ribs, up into the chest, open the mouth. Just release, relax, let it go. So that was 1. You can use 1, 2, or 3, and you just feel how the nervous system comes down. And you feel a bit more relaxed as well.
Yeah, that's a great technique to teach the kids, because a lot of mums would be struggling with in those moments. There's so much parenting advice out there, and like, how do you approach them? And the little ones are also, not regulated these days, and they're having these tantrums, and it can be wild. So I think that's really a great easy thing that you're there and then with them.
Yeah, and I'm definitely, sorry to jump in again,
No.
I'm definitely interested in supporting kids more. I think for me, I struggled at school, I was dyslexic, and I used to get really frustrated, and I couldn't really control my anger, and a lot of kids get a bit angry and just kind of lash out. So because of that, and I remember that quite vividly, I'd love to be able to help kids more. So I am exploring avenues to support kids from a app-based perspective with breathwork, with guided stories, with kind of guided narratives. So yeah, you're making me think more. And I mean, I've been having these conversations over the last couple of weeks with
I think
quite a lot
there's
of people.
definitely a gap there, and the need for it, because really, if you learn when you're an adult, like there's so many people learning about it now, but it's like, imagine how amazing your breath work and your technique and your knowledge about it if you started in school.
100%. And even, so many kids at such a young age are anxious these days. I didn't have a clue what it was until I was
That
depressed.
word is a naughty word in my house, because it gets thrown around so much. Like, you have a bad day. Oh, I've got anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's actually not use that word and
I
actually
agree.
just get to the,
Yeah.
what the problem is. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I also think that something that gets thrown around these days is ADHD, not ADHD. What's the oh?
There's a lot of them.
I think it probably is ADHD. Though.
Probably is.
Everyone's just saying they have ADHD or they can't focus. But I think just people are struggling to focus, and I think social media is kind of bringing that away.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think they should bring breath work into schools. There you go.
I think that'd be a good
On
avenue.
tour next year.
Yep, watch
All
the
the
space.
schools. No, I think honestly it would be such a beneficial thing to kids, and actually teaching them why, because I think it's discipline. When coming down to it, you have to remind yourself, like in those moments, to do it. So what actually what gives you the motivation to do it? Is it because you've seen how good you do feel from it, and that's why you continue to do it?
That's a nice question. That's a good question. Yeah, I think I've reaped the rewards in the past, and I've enjoyed the benefits that I've felt. Therefore, I want to continue feeling that way. I enjoy the version of me who practices breathwork. And I'm proud of the man I am now, when I probably couldn't have said that 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
When I didn't have the ability to control my mind or regulate my mind or manage my mind. But things are a lot different now. So I know the version of Rory who was unregulated and anxious and flat and low and partying too much. And then I know the version of Rory who is a bit more controlled. And I like the latter more.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's great. You describe breath as a bridge between the brain and the body. What do most people misunderstand about breath work? I know some people think it's like a bit like for the hippies,
Yeah, well, that's a great point.
for the Byron Bay crew.
I think people often think, oh, I don't need breathwork. That's for the woo-woo, energetic, spiritual hippies. But it's just fact and science. We give so much time and attention to the muscular system, the skeletal system, the cardiovascular system, the immune system. All these 12 internal systems of the body. Why don't we give time and attention to how we breathe? We can go a few days, a few weeks without any food and water. You can't go minutes without your breath. So it's pretty important. And it's so vastly overlooked and undervalued. So yeah, to kind of bring that bit together, it's not for hippies. Hippies may enjoy it. It's for anyone
They're
who
so
wants
ahead
to.
of us, these hippies. All
Yeah, I know.
laughing, the meditation and the grounding and now look at the world.
Maybe I've got to dress more like a hippie. Maybe I've got to look
Seriously.
more like a hippie. But no, I think you're right. It's for, breathwork is for anyone who wants to live a better life. As simple as that, and
Which is
hopefully-
everyone.
Hopefully, that doesn't sound like a throwaway comment, but it's for busy mums. It's for kids. It's for high performing athletes. It's for people in medical clinics. We all breathe, and we can all live a little bit better in some format.
Well, Rory, you have a new book coming out called Unlock Your Breath, The Science and Secrets to Harnessing Your Full Potential. Available January 28th.
28th, yeah.
How exciting.
Very excited. It'll be available in all major bookstores. I'm currently, well, not currently because I'm speaking with you, which I'm
Yeah.
enjoying. But this week, next week, and the following week, I'm reading the book for the audiobooks. That'll be available as well.
I love an audible book. I'm glad you're doing that. For
Yep.
especially like the busy mamas that have the headphones in. It's a great way to listen in.
Hopefully, they can stay engaged with my Scottish voice and Scottish accent. But no, I'm excited, and it's everything that I've learned, everything that I've supported people far and wide with breathwork, through breathwork, to improve mental health, physical health, emotional health. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to grab one for myself because even just chatting to you now, I've learnt so much and how important breath work is. And like you said, it's not woo woo, but there's science that backs it, and anything that science backs, I'm like all down for. I'm like, yep, I want to live a better life. I want to feel at my best. I think a lot of listeners will be able to relate to that, whether they're just busy business, corporate girly, or they're running after the kids. Everyone wants to feel at their best. So thank you so much, Rory, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.